This video is a brief explanation of the method Music Moves for piano, what it is, how it works, and how it differs from traditional piano instruction. Authored by Marilyn Lowe, Music Moves for Piano is based on Dr. Edwin E. Gordon's Music Learning Theory, otherwise known as MLT. What is MLT? MLT is an explanation of how we learn when we learn music. It was formulated by Dr. Edwin E. Gordon, who was a researcher, writer, and philosopher in the field of music education. Gordon devoted 50 years to researching and testing his theories. One of the central ideas is the concept of audiation, the ability to think music in the mind with understanding. To quote Gordon, audiation is to music what thought is to language. It is the key to unlocking an independent musical mind. Sequential music learning is another important part of MLT. Some methods place note reading close to the beginning of the sequence. Others, like Suzuki, Dalcroze, Kodai, and Orff, start with listening and performing. Gordon's research supports his theory that placing listening and performing at the start of a curriculum leads to better audiation and more effective reading and writing skills. So how do we learn when we learn music? Let's think about how we learn language. Even though music is not a language, there are parallels between the way we learn music and the way we learn language. As babies, we weren't expected to read straight away. We first listened to others speak. Then we practiced speaking, first as babble. As we listened and spoke, we started to understand how words fit together to convey meaning. We practiced thinking and conversing in language, teaching ourselves by doing. Finally, when our brain was ready to think abstractly, we were ready to bring all that meaning to the written word. It's the same with music. We first learn by listening to others perform music. Then we perform it ourselves while continuing to broaden our listening vocabulary. With guidance and instruction from a fellow music maker, we begin to audiate, create, and improvise. Finally, when the brain is ready and when we have plenty of these musical experiences, we're able to bring meaning to music notation. When the environment allows us to follow the sequence, reading music becomes a matter of recognition rather than decoding. Other key principles of MLT include whole, part, whole learning, a focus on patterns, variety and contrast, and movement. Whole part whole learning is where we take a whole piece of music, study its parts, then return to the whole with increased understanding. Pattern study is fundamental. Arguably, the most important elements in music are the rhythm and tonal or pitch strands. With pattern study, we focus on one strand at a time. The goal is to build rhythm pattern and tonal pattern vocabularies, and to develop music skills. Patterns are like the words of music. Specially designed sequenced activities help students discriminate among musical ideas, as well as make their own inferences and generalizations. Students learn how to learn so they can teach themselves. Variety and contrast are important for making comparisons. After all, we learn what something is by what it is not. MLT teachers sing songs in a variety of tonalities and meters so students can make comparisons. Songs are in major, minor, Dorian, Mixolydian, Lydian, Phrygian, Aeolian, and Locrian. Students experience music that moves in twos or threes, or in various combinations of these. Gordon advocated that we bathe children in this rich learning environment from day one. Last but not least, movement. Rhythm and characteristics of musical style have foundation in movement. Accuracy and sensitivity in musical performance requires lots of experience with weight, space, time, and flow. Traditionally, music is taught through the mind first. On the contrary, we learn music primarily through body movement. What does MLT look like in a piano lesson? Activities include listening, moving, singing, chanting, audiating and performing, creating and improvising, ensemble playing, and much more. Students learn rote solos along with smaller pieces designed to develop their audiation and technical skills. They quickly discover that music is something they can create themselves. Back to the method, music moves for piano. To date, this is the only piano method based on music learning theory. The author, Marilyn Lowe, is an accomplished pianist, organist, author, teacher, and composer. Lowe mentors many teachers from across the globe. Apart from applying MLT, Lowe also draws from the approaches and methods of Orff, Suzuki, Dalcroze, and Kodály. She credits the musical thinking of her teachers Nadia Boulanger, Menahem Pressler, and others. Marilyn Lowe has not only created a brilliant audiation-based piano method, but she has thought of everything required to foster healthy technique for a lifetime of piano playing. Activities and pieces include elements of the Taubman approach and the list-to-sync method, and are carefully sequenced to form solid keyboard skills and good technical habits. What should parents know about an audiation-based approach to piano? First, learning is meaningful, playful, and engaging. Students know they are learning, and they're quick to take up the musical tools we give them. Secondly, keep in mind that Music Moves for Piano is a non-traditional method. Lessons will look different from what you may be used to. Allow yourself time to adjust. One point of difference is that Music Moves for Piano is a sound before sight method. The books present oral information in such a way that students learn their pieces through audiation. They take responsibility for their learning and develop study skills. Non-essentials are avoided in the beginning. Examples of non-essentials are letter-naming notes on the music staff, numbering fingers, counting and decoding music notation. These are all distractions from learning how to audiate. Music Moves for Piano uses an alternative way to notate keyboard music so that students can audiate and recall essential music information. Terminology is a little different too. Traditional methods begin with reading-based terms such as crotchets or quarter notes and time signatures. Music Moves for Piano uses terms for concepts that are primarily heard and felt. Allow yourself time to adjust to the new terms. The Gordon-Froseth beat function syllable system is used for understanding and categorizing rhythm, and the tonal solfege system we use is movable do with a la-based minor. Short, singable folk songs are an essential part of the method. Folk songs allow students to start playing creatively straight away. They're used for musical analysis and to practice making changes at the piano, such as changes of meter or tonality, melodic, rhythmic and harmonic variations, adding accompaniment patterns, intros, interludes and codas, making medleys and mashups, and so on. Along with a large folk song vocabulary, students also develop a vocabulary of rhythm and tonal patterns. Exploration, creativity and improvisation projects set this method apart from others. Like learning a new language, practical and creative opportunities solidify learning. Since this is an oral and audiation-based method, your child will need access to a listening device that they can operate themselves. Position the device close to the piano. Before we finish, here are some easy ways that you can support your child between lessons. Number 1, expect your child to be musical. Know that they have musical potential, as do we all. 2, accept all musical responses. Accept each attempt, just as you did when your child was learning to talk. Number 3, listen, move, sing and chant. You are the most powerful model for your child. You may enjoy learning more about Gordon, music learning theory, or Music Moves for Piano by clicking on the links below this video.